Good morning, Shlog fans. It is, what is it? It's Friday. I forget. Anyway, it's Friday. I'm out with the pup. We're out for our morning walk in a beautiful place. It's called Buzzard Gulch. I'm out here a lot. It's a non-motorized area. It's awesome. Out here, just loving life, man. The sun came up again, amazingly enough. Had an awesome ride yesterday. I hope you guys got to see that. If you haven't, I'll put the little card up here for that ride. It was brilliant. We had so much fun out at Dry Creek. Oh man, such a good day. It was snowing and crazy right before we left, and then like it quit snowing and the conditions could not have been better. I mean, it was absolutely perfect. No dust, great traction, awesome guys to ride with. It was super fun. Today's going to be good. We're going to do the AER forks on the FX350 finally. I know I'm behind. I got too excited about going riding, so it happens. So I'll kind of go in depth on those again, at least the air side, because it seems like a lot of guys either mess that up or are afraid to tackle it. I just want to show you how you can do it without a whole bunch of fancy tools. So we'll do that. And then whatever else comes, we got a ton of services. Getting guys ready for the season, so lots of cool stuff. It's gonna be an awesome day, guys. Yeah, if you think what we're doing here on this channel is awesome and you like motorcycles and you want to help us spread the gospel of two wheels, please hit the subscribe button. It means a lot. Oh, pup, what are you doing, puppers? What are you doing? What are you doing? You get it, get it, get it, get it, puppers, get it, get it. That's a good dog. That's a good dog. Yeah. Anyway, if you think that's awesome, hit subscribe too. She's awesome. Anyway, I love you guys. Let's get on with the daily Shlog. All right, guys, we're at the shop, and it's a crazy day. My son Thomas is starting to work on his 125. You excited, bud?
Yes.
Nice. So we're starting with the 125 build project right now. Right now is when we're starting. You guys keep asking, so his job today is to start taking the whole thing apart. So he's going to start by taking the plastic off. Then I've tasked him with getting the wheels off. Then we might do the forks. If we got time, he's going to go, not too terribly long, he's going to go shooting with his granddad. So, I can't interrupt that because that's going to be awesome too. So, while he's doing that, which is so cool, I'm excited, I am going to be working on the forks for the FX350. Like I said, we'll go in depth here during the Shlog on this. Maybe not all the way, but anyway, we'll go pretty far in. So you guys can see it. We're going to start with the air side, show you how we take that apart and then how we service that inner air chamber, because that's a really important thing that not enough people do. So let's start by peeling this thing apart. Yeah. Okay, what's that? Okay, hang on. That's an 8. So there's pins. There you go.
Oh, the tech. He fell. Oh no. He was like, okay.
50mm wrench. Specific to these guys. I'll put a link in the description. There's the part number. These forks, honestly, super easy to work on. The inner air chamber, not as easy, but that's all right. So now we'll dump this out. By the way, Zach is working on his favorite new motorcycle, CRF 250R, with the twice pipes, which just is ridiculous. And then the bearing of the carburetor and the frame, nightmare. But we're making it happen, or Zach's making it happen. I'm not making that happen at all. But but he's I did help a little bit. But carburetor in the ultrasonic, which is good because it was pretty dirty. Was it dirty? Pretty gnarly in there?
Terrible.
Not, yeah. They're always, yeah. These things, I keep telling Chris he needs to ride more, but he won't listen to me. All right, so that's draining. Let's pop the air spring out. So that guy is just holding the bottom of the air spring. It's really cool. Super simple. Boys, Ewan, say hi. That's my younger son. He's helping. To be honest. He's staring aimlessly. But
Hey, dude.
I know. I'm just messing with you. Play with the puppers. There's the puppers. Oh, see, from the backside here, let me show you. Thomas had a good question here. Let me show you guys. So, these collars in here, you want to save them when you switch plastics. So, backside, Thomas, you push like that. Drop it out. Because we're just pitching this plastic because we got a whole brand new set to put on here. We'll have new graphics and everything. 19 millimeter. So this is going to be a great video, guys. I hope you guys like this because we're going to go back and forth between helping my kid take his 125 apart and doing these forks. So it's like a good exercise in multitasking and paying attention. So. Anyway, so this is the air spring. This is what takes the place of the two coil springs. And really all it is this rod has a piston on it that's sealed. You put air in up here, 100 and whatever pounds. And then that thing acts as the spring on the left side of the bike. And then on the right side of the bike, you've got that fork, which does all the damping, both compression and rebound. So, the air spring side has a normal outer forks like normal seals. I'm not going to show you me doing those seals because I've done a million of them. I'll put a card up here for another fork seal video that shows that. And so you guys can check that out if you want to see me actually do the seals. But let's take a look at this air spring. Because this is something that needs to get serviced every time you do the forks. And a lot of guys don't do that because it's kind of hard. But I'll show you how to do it with just normal tools. We're going to start by taking the valve core out of the air spring part. And if you look here, this is the Schrader valve for the air spring, right? So the part you put your spring pressure in for your weight or the riding you're doing or whatever. So I take the valve core out of that, and there's a whole bunch of air on this side. Usually 130, 140 pounds, depending on the rider. All right, so now we got to get this out. And this thing is on here really tight and has a whole bunch of Loctite on it. And so you've got to be uber super careful. If you grab a hold of this tube with anything, even soft jaws or anything like that, it's going to deform this, and then this thing won't ever seal. There's my kid. So what you got to do is, well, the way I do it, so there you can have a special vise that'll hold this thing and be just the right size and be really careful about it, and that's nice. But the way I do it is we're going to need a wrench this size. Put it over here in my soft jaws, but just tight enough to hold it. Okay, just tight enough to hold it. We're not squeezing on it at all. Then 24mm wrench fits that. And so here's how we're going to do it without squeezing tight on this. Is we're going to use our 50mm wrench to hold it over here. And since we're taking it off, we're going to be spinning it this way, lefty-loosey. So what I do is I take this and I put it on in an orientation so that, let me show you. So get it on there, then see if I can show you. Then you loosen the vise and you're going to turn it until it hits right there. So that's going to put tension on it when we tighten down or when we're loosening. So this is going to do my holding for me while I come over to this end and I loosen it. The other key to this is our friend the blue wrench. We want to heat this up because, like I said, this has a whole bunch of crazy like green Loctite on it that is holding it really tightly. So we want to heat this up just enough so that we can break that loose, get it apart, and then I'll show you how we service it. There we go. Once you get it loose, you can hold on to it. Just slowly rotate it off. So there we go. So some of these guys just come apart. Like they'll just slide out. Other ones are a little bit harder. So I do a pair of snap ring pliers, which are incredibly handy for lots of things. Come in here, you kind of squeeze out on it and then spin it, because what's holding it up are the threads in the end of the tube. So if you just unscrew it, and you got to be really careful of the shaft right here. You don't want to score that up or this thing will never seal up. So you kind of got to just be delicate. There we go. Comes apart. Whole thing comes apart. And look, so this whole thing depends on this grease right here. And it's almost totally dry. And if I look down in there, it's almost dry. So it's a good thing we're doing this. Otherwise, this is going to start leaking here real soon. Now it's time to service and then reinstall the air seal or the air spring situation. So like I said, this whole thing runs on having a bunch of grease in it, and there's really not much left in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to grease the heck out of the whole situation. And I like to use the same Motor X stuff. Take a whole bunch of that, run it around, put some on top, all over there. Same deal here. Gonna put a bunch in there. Watch out. There we go. Put it down in there. Take your seal, and you got to be really careful because this seal, you don't want it getting hurt on these threads that are in here. So you just gotta take it nice and easy. Get past those threads. All right, so we slide that back in. Take our pliers. Again, being uber super careful of this shaft. Now you got to get all that extra grease out of those threads. so that when we put this back in with some Loctite on it, it seals up. If you got grease down in there, the Loctite doesn't work. A bit of red. Now tighten it down. Tighten that down. You just want it pretty tight because you don't have to go crazy. That's why we put the Loctite on there. There's also the O-ring on there that helps seal it up. I'm just using line pressure because out here, this far away from the compressor, we're probably about like 120 pounds, which is on the low side of what you set these to anyway. There we go. Sliding her back in here. And see how that is a hex that goes into a hex piece down here in the bottom. So you got to make sure you get that seated right. And you can see that by looking down here in the end. It's pretty obvious that it seats. So there we go. Take our plug. Now in this outer chamber, I'm going to put 220 cc's of the good Maxima 5 weight. All right, now we'll check the pressure. All right, so it's 124. I'm not exactly sure how much this guy weighs, but that's probably pretty close for rocky terrain for most folks, most normal-sized humans. When I had my air forks, I ran like 122 to 126, depending on where I was riding. And at that time, I was like 220 pounds, so 215. So I think we're good to go. All right, guys, so now we got the damping side of the fork. Quick explanation if you guys don't know how the AER forks work. I mean, I already mentioned it, but the left side is the spring, right side is all the damping. Compression controls here, rebound controls on the bottom. And yeah, they're pretty cool forks. I don't like them as much as the old open chambers. I also like spring forks personally. Comment below what you guys like. You like springs, you like air, which air version you like, all that stuff. Obviously, there's no wrong answer. It's all opinion. I just like having springs because they don't fail. So I don't like checking air in my tires. I don't like checking it in my forks. This side of the fork looks an awful lot like the other side of the fork, but it's completely different. So you got a base or a rebound adjuster right here. That goes in here, pushes on the rebound rod. Compression adjuster up here, pushes on the compression rod. So it is totally different. Cool thing is no spring, so it all comes out super easy. Gonna take this thing apart, clean it all up. And we're gonna use the Maxima 5 weight. That's what's in here. It's not antifreeze, I promise. So you can't really overfill it. I mean, it's over full right now and it's gonna spill out, but that's okay because we're bleeding it and it'll bleed the rest of it out. But we want this is all the way full of oil with no air in it. Getting ready to put the forks back together. Got it all clean. Got the crosshatch in it. Micro finish, which all the suspension guys would like to say. Anyway, just want to show you, I'm replacing bushings, and I want to show you why. So from the outside, this bushing looks great, but if you look in there, see how discolored it is? That's no good. And then here's the outer bushing, and you see that what that looks like. Let me show you what new ones look like. So there is the inner bushing, what that's supposed to look like, and that is what a new outer bushing looks like. So we're definitely putting new bushings in this thing. I already did the other ones. I just figured I'd show you guys so you kind of know what I'm looking for when I'm making that decision. So yeah, new bushings for this guy. This bike's gonna be working brilliantly for him. I'm really excited about it because man, suspension always works so good with new seals, bushings, oil, and everything. It's just right on the money. So excited to get this thing back together. He's coming tomorrow. I thought he was coming today. I'm glad he's not, because it's already after 5 and I'm still not done. But he is coming tomorrow, and he's gonna be stoked. Oh guys, end of the day. Got the suspension all done. It was quite a day. It's always epic having the kids here. I love having them here because I just like being around my kids because they're awesome. And I like teaching them things and getting them to do stuff. And Thomas definitely made some headway on the 125. I'll show you guys that here in just a second. Real proud of him on that. But man, it definitely slows things down, makes things a little more hectic. But yeah, it's part of it. Part of being a dad, which is like the best part of my life, honestly. Dirt bikes are second. It's craziness. I love it though. So yeah, just oiling this thing up. And while I'm sitting here, I figured I'd tell you guys a quick funny story. I was talking to my wife last night, and I don't know how we got on the topic, but it came up with what's the craziest thing you found in a motorcycle. And I thought about this because the airbox is off, and I've been looking at this bike all day with the airbox off. I let this dry the other day. So it was an 80s Virago 920, I think. It was a 920, 940, something Virago. Anyway, so it had been sitting in a barn for a long time. The guy, the owner, was the original owner. He just let it sit in this barn. He brings it down. He's like, Morgan, I want to get this thing running. Has a lot of sentimental value. I know you're going to tell me it's not worth it, but I don't care. I want to do it. All right, man, you bet. So, I mean, I can get behind sentimental value. So, I start working on it, clean the carburetors, get them all dialed in, go through the thing, check sure it's got oil and all that stuff. Okay, ready to go. And won't start. I'm like, God, what the heck? And I knew that the carbs were clean, everything was good. So, choke it, little brake clean, and it starts running, but it's real quiet, like real quiet, out the exhaust. And then I'm trying to rev it, it starts running, and then all of a sudden, smoke starts coming out of the exhaust, and then flaming bits of dog food start coming out of the exhaust. Across the stinking shop, flaming bits of dog food, on fire, like smoke everywhere, and then all of a sudden, the smell of death fills this shop. I mean, the grossest, nastiest smell you have ever smelled in your life, I swear. And I'm holding the thing, I'm like, oh my, I realized that there's something dead in the exhaust, most likely a mouse or a rat. I don't know, I never did actually take it apart and look. And it's burning, and the gross. So I push the thing outside, and it's just like the whole. You couldn't see from here to that like exhaust. No joke. Like couldn't see your hand in front of your face almost. So gross. And it was like I run outside. I start throwing up because I have a pretty weak gag reflex, honestly. And it was so gross. I call the guy. I'm like, hey, dude. I'm not working on this thing anymore. This is disgusting. Unless you want to pay me giant tons of money to take this exhaust off or go buy a new exhaust or whatever. So I ended up not working on it. But that's one of the craziest things. So you guys comment below if you found any crazy stuff in a motorcycle. You can count four-wheelers too. I'll give you that. I've seen lots of mouse nests in four-wheelers. So you know, whatever. So comment below if you found any crazy stuff in motorcycles. That's just one of the things. If you want to hear more stories of weird things in motorcycles, let me know. I will tell another one on the next Shlog, because I've got a couple other really good ones, I think. They're pretty ridiculous. So, all right. I'm going to get this thing in, and then I'm going to shut this thing down. But before I do that, I'll definitely show you what the 125 is looking like. Because again, I'm proud of Thomas. He didn't put a ton of work in today, but you know, that's fair. He and his brother weren't really planning on coming out, and Mom had to make a bunch of phone calls for work, so she brought him out. And I was happy to have him. All right. So, here's the 02 YZ125. Thomas got all the plastic off. Got the rear wheel off, got the front wheel off, got the forks off, got them all stashed over there. Now, next time he comes out, we'll get the triple clamps off, we'll get the motor out of the frame, get the swing arm and linkage off, and shock off, and then we'll be ready to start going back together. I think I got to decide what I'm going to do with the motor. I think I'm going to just go ahead and take the motor all the way down, split the cases, put a new crank in it and everything, just start fresh. It definitely has an Athena 144 kit in it, so I'm going to have to buy like a normal bottom end and then a 144 top end. But yeah, I'm super stoked. We're making progress on that, so make sure you stay tuned as we work on that build. It's going to be really cool. I'm excited for him. He's going to learn even more. He's already helped me build from the crank up a KX65 and a KX100. So the kid's actually pretty good with the wrench. He's a kid, so sometimes it's a bit of a struggle. But it is what it is. We got a bunch more bikes in today, guys. Got a KX450, another KX100, whatever. We got lots of work to do, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for paying attention. Guys that are subscribed, I really, really appreciate it. All my patrons, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. All the guys that do the super chats on our live shows, thank you. I just cannot say thank you enough. I love you. If you want to buy merch that also really helps us a bunch, I mean, it's been really good for us. I'll put a link in the description for our merch. It's just t-shirts and some mugs. And anyway, 2 strokes matter, 4 strokes matter, and our bagpiper guy. Because all strokes matter, let's be honest. As long as it's got 2 wheels and motor, I'm happy. I love you guys so much. Get out, spread the gospel of 2 wheels, and please, 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 find some time to ride your dirt bikes!